Okay, everybody. Today we are going to look at ratios. This is lesson 4, module 1, grade 6 in Eureka Math. So what are ratios and why do they matter? Ratios, this is something you may want to write down. Ratios are number relationships or comparisons between two things. So there's two ways to say and write them. You can use these two symbols, these two dots, a colon, okay? We see that in time. All right, we also see it in ratios. So 5 to 2 is how you say it, and then you write it with that. You could also simply just write out the word 2. So 5 to 2. Both of these say the exact same thing. They're both correct. This one, there's two ways to describe the ratio. So we have to assign this 5 to something and this 2 to something because they are relationships between two things. So what does the 5 mean? What does the 5 here stand for? So I could write it like this. There are 5 green apples to every 2 red apples. So I have to use the word to, or I can also describe it using the words for every. For every 5 green apples, there are 2 red apples. And then clearly you notice the 5 is written first, the 2 written second. The 5 is described by green apples, and the 2 stands for red apples. So now I've described what each number means. I've used ratio language, and I have them in the right order because order matters. Equivalent ratios are ratios that are multiples of another ratio. So when I find another, when I use that ratio in a different problem, maybe with a higher amount, I have to use multiples. So 2 to 3 is the same as 4 to 6. So if I had 2 green apples and 3 red apples, and then I bought another bag of 5 apples, that would be 4 green and 6 red because each one is being multiplied by 2. 8 to 10 could be 24 to 30 because 8 times 3 is 24 and 10 times 3 is 30. However, 4 to 1 cannot be 8 to 4 because 4 times 2 is 8 and 1 times 4 is 4. It's not the same multiple. It has to be multiplied by the same factor in order to be an equivalent ratio. So that's why this one doesn't work. I can also go backwards. I can divide, because divide and multiplication are the same thing in opposite directions. Combining equal groups, separating equal groups. So 15 to 5 can equal 30 to 1 because 15 divided by 5 is 3, and 5 divided by 5 is 1. So I can divide each of the first two numbers by the same factor, and I get an equivalent ratio. Does this sound at all like equivalent fractions? It does. So here's an example. There are 18 offensive players and 12 defensive players. Coach said that the ratio of offensive to defensive players is 3 to 1. Is he correct? Show why or why not. Go ahead and try this on your own. Work with your teacher to find the answer. Thanks for watching.